Hey YouTube, let's see. Um, I'm having a lot of trouble in Japan. I have been for a while now, and nothing's selling at my shop. Um, Everybody keeps asking me for money, and it's kind of how it's been going for like the last 5 months. And I'm kind of tired of it. Getting old. It's getting old. Trying to make things happen and have nothing happen. So I'm going to be leaving Japan, closing my shop, selling everything off, and moving someplace that's a little bit more easier for me to live in. And I don't know exactly where I'm going yet. I'd like to go to Thailand. I don't know if I can stay in Thailand. That's the thing. I'm trying to look for some place that is where I can seek asylum, basically, where I can give up my U.S. citizenship and take on the citizenship of some other country. Like, I found a few places like Germany and Switzerland. The cool thing about Germany is they have said for any American that wants to come to Germany, they can go to college for free. Things like that. So it seems like it's a pretty cool country. Um, I found, let's see, Switzerland, France, uh, someplace in South Africa, on an island. There's a few places like that, really cool places. But I really want to live someplace where it's easy to be a vegan, because that's the first thing. I'm a vegan, and also where it's easy to get like transgender stuff done and doesn't cost a billion dollars like everything does in America. But I'm pretty much I'm done with the U.S. I don't want to go back. I've had a bunch of friends telling me, well, you should come back to the U.S. and you should go to this state and you should go to that state. I don't want to go to any states in the U.S. This America is fucked. Just it's fucked. If you have an idea that America is still cool, you're living either some fantasy land or you're a white Christian, and that's the only way you can live in the United States. If you're not a white Christian, uh, you're you're not able to live there. They people are so oblivious to the police brutality that's going on. Every day, transgender people are dying. Every day, gay people die. Gun violence, violence in general. People just can't leave people alone and let people live. They got to force their religion on you, you know. And I want to live someplace where you can just live and be truly free and not just have people tell you you're free. Because there's an old saying that says the people who are most enslaved are people who think they're free, and that's America. Because so many Americans are like, no, I'm free, I'm free. I look at it like this. If you walk into a room and I tell you, you can have anything you want on the table, you know, I have all these things lined up on a table, say food, some kind of food. I have all these things lined up on the table. I say, you choose anything you want, take anything you want on the table, you know. Well, it seems like you're free, right? You know, but all you get to choose from is what's on the table. You don't get anything else in the room. Can't choose anything else in the room or anything out of the room. Only what's on that table. That's not freedom. And that's what we have in America. They say, oh, you're free because I can do this and I can do this and I can do this. But think of this. Can you do anything in the United States that the government doesn't need to know about? Can you buy a car? Can you buy a house? Can you build onto your house? Can you get property? Can you go to the military? Can you, I mean, anything. Almost anything you'd want to do. Buy a cell phone, buy a gun, uh, drive your vehicle, you know, anything you want to do. Get married, anything you want to do in the United States, the government has to know. That's not freedom. As long as you're not committing a crime under the Constitution of the United States, it states that there's only two forms of crimes in the United States. One is if you harm a person, if you hurt a person or kill a person. Number two is if you harm or hurt their property. That's it. And there's so many people that are so stupid that don't understand the Constitution and will actually argue with you that police have the right to pull you over for stop sign violations or for driving down the highway 2 miles an hour over the speed limit, which is a code and a statute. And by the law and the Constitution, a code and a statute is not a law. But they've convinced you that it is. So people get pulled over for these and extorted billions of dollars a year to fund these police organizations that go around tasing people and shooting people and not allowing you to be free, and have convinced you that it's legal, you know. Well, think about this. There's something called manzuria. Manzuria means premeditation, and that's the only way that you can be proven guilty of anything. If you're doing something and it's an accident, well then it's an accident. You're not guilty of anything. You didn't purposely try to do something. It was an accident. You don't get to charge somebody for an accident, you know. So that's basically what we're talking about here is manzuria. If I'm driving down the street and I stop at a stop sign and then notice there's nobody around and I go too quickly and a police officer pulls me over, he has to first prove that I had manzuria, that I was trying to hurt a person or property. If that can't be proven, there's no crime. If there's no crime, a victimless crime, that's the big thing about the Constitution, it has to be a victim. There has to be a victim to the crime. You know, if I turn a corner or if I'm driving down the highway minding my own business doing 75 and a 70 and they pull me over for 5 miles an hour over, who is the victim? Who did I hurt? Whose property did I hurt? Whose person was hurt? In every other case, if you call the police and you say, well, I have this person that's stalking me and they've threatened to kill me, they say, well, we can't do anything really until they do something. You know, if they come to your house and they threaten to kill you and they have a gun and they kill you, then we'll come over and at least we know who did it. But on the highway, they can just pull you over for driving over the speed limit, and the thing they say that they have the right to do it is they're trying to protect everybody else in case you wreck or in case you cause an accident. So in the case of you extorting money from me, you can pull me over. But in the case that I might be actually killed, you can't do anything. You know. And this is America. This is the new freedom that everybody seems to think they have. And I don't want to go back there. I don't want anything to do with that country. That country is so backwards. And the only good thing that the United States has going for it right now is that the religion is on the downturn. It's going down, like I think 10% now. It's dropping. 10% less people are saying that they affiliate with a religion, which is great. You know, I can't wait until it's like 60% of the United States. You know, right now it's probably about 25 or 30% are either atheist or don't affiliate with any religion. You know, which is awesome. You know, that's the only thing that's good about the United States right now. You know, we've still got so many states that if you're in that state and you're transgender, you'll be killed. Very high chance of you being killed, you know. Or at the very least, you'll be discriminated against and won't even be able to get a job, you know. So I want to live in a country where they still have freedom. And you can still be whatever you want to be. People don't give a shit about you. And you can just live your life, you know. So the countries I'm thinking about maybe moving to would be Thailand, would probably be first, I would say. Maybe. I don't know. You know, I'm a vegan and there's good fruit in Thailand, but there's also cobras and all kinds of other shit. So I don't know if I want to live there. The cost of living is very cheap too. You can rent like a house for $5 a month, or you can buy a house for like less than $5,000 a year, you know, to buy a whole home. So that would be kind of nice. But probably New Zealand, Australia, although I hear Australia is very hard to move to. I don't know if they'll actually let you live there. I don't know how easy it would be to just like drop off my U.S. citizenship and move there. So I don't know. And France would be nice, although I don't speak French. There's places like Brazil. They're pretty good for asylum and stuff I've seen. I've read up some stuff just today on that. I've been looking for a few places, but yeah. So, yeah, I'm done with this place. I'm probably going to sell off whatever I can. Whatever I have left, I'll probably just donate it. I'm going to keep most of my music equipment. My music equipment, the stuff that I had that I brought here to sell, I don't want to drag that around with me because I have 25 guitars and only about 4 of them are ones that I want to keep. The rest of them were for sale. So I'll probably just sell those off and get rid of them and use that money to move. And the rest of this stuff I'll probably just leave it here and just leave it behind. You know, I don't want to drag it all behind me. A lot of it has to do with my male self, you know. So, you know, a lot of it's clothes and things like that I don't want anything to do with them. So, yeah. That's what's going on in my life. If any of you look at pictures on my Facebook page, or I have videos on this site as well on YouTube of my shop. If there's a guitar that you think is cool, you can always message me and make an offer. And if I like the offer, you put the money in my PayPal account, and just like on eBay, I'll ship it out to you. And what's really cool that's different from America, from Japan as well, is if I ship you a guitar from Japan, it will actually get to you anywhere in the world within 5 days. That's what's cool. When I've ordered a few things from America to come to Japan, and they keep arriving in Japan about 3 or 4 weeks after I order them. You know, which is freaking stupid. I don't know why it takes that long to get out of the United States. A lot of the stuff they're sending out of the U.S., I don't know why it takes so long to leave the country. But a lot of the stuff doesn't even leave the United States for like 2.5, 3 weeks after you've ordered it off eBay. It's freaking ridiculous, you know. So, and it's obvious that it doesn't need to be done that way, because when I ship stuff from here to the U.S. to a customer from eBay, it gets to them within 4 or 5 days after I shipped it. So it's obvious that that's the way it should be, and that it doesn't have to be that way, you know. And it makes it even worse because I'm sending it from Japan to the U.S., which means things that are coming into the U.S., they are less critical about than things that are going out of the U.S., which makes no sense, you know. If you're worried about, you know, bombs or whatever you think you need to be worried about in America, which is completely retarded, but whatever. Why are you worried about things leaving the U.S.? Why are you not worried about things coming into the U.S.? You would think it would take 3 weeks for something to get into the U.S. and 5 days for it to leave, you know? So, whatever. America's so backwards, I don't even care about them anymore. I'm so done with them. I don't want anything to do with the U.S. I'm over it as much as you can be over it. So, yeah. So that's what I got going on. You know, anybody that wants any of my stuff from over here, just message me, and we'll work on a plan on getting it to you. So, if you like, if you want to see more, got any questions, comments, criticisms, leave them in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe. Have a nice day.